Good morning. I am Pastor Terry from Tuscola United Methodist Church, and today is day 4, Thursday of our isolation time. And I thought we'd talk about something a little bit different today. Thought we'd take a look at some church history. Today we're going to talk about a man named Eusebius, and Eusebius lived around the 3rd century AD. Was an early father of the Christian Church. And one of the things that Eusebius was well known for was writing a book called Ecclesiastical History. Ecclesiastical simply means of relating to the church. And one of the things that he talks about in this book is how the early church was known for its sacrificial care for people who were sick in times of war, in times of famine, and in times of plague. And so I'm going to read you, and this is a little long, but I ask you to hold with me because I think it's a powerful section. I'm going to read to you a description of events that Eusebius put in his book. This takes place in the city of Alexandria, which is part of modern day Egypt. Here it goes. For the very heart of the city is more desolate and impassable than the vast and trackless desert which the Israelites traversed in 2 generations. Men wonder and are at a loss to know whence come the constant plagues. Whence these malignant diseases, whence these variegated infections, whence all that various and immense destruction of human lives. So I'm going to stop there and just say at this point, they're saying that Alexandria is like a desert. No one is out and about, kind of similar to our towns today, but not just one disease. It sounds like they are getting hit by myriad of diseases, disease after disease, plague after plague. So going on. But now all things are filled with tears. All are mourning, and by reason of the multitudes already dead and still dying, groans are daily resounding throughout the city. I tell you, this sounds like an absolutely horrendous time. And one thing we can say is that we are nowhere near this situation now, with the dead everywhere and the dying just constantly groaning. It's just sounds horrific. Going on, this pestilence was a calamity more dreadful to them, the pagans, and more afflictive than any affliction, and which, as one of their own historians has said, was of itself alone beyond all hope. So the pagans, it hit them worse, and they have no hope. Going on to us, meaning Christians, however, it did not wear this character. But no less than other events, it was a school for exercise and probation. Indeed, the most of our brethren, by their exceeding great love and brotherly affection, not sparing themselves and adhering to one another, were constantly superintending the sick, ministering to their wants without fear and without cessation, and healing them in Christ, have departed most sweetly with them. So here we have the pagans, it's hitting them worse. And even their own historians are saying there's no hope. But the Christians are using this almost like a school, like a chance to say, hey, what am I capable of doing in Christ's love? Among the heathens, it was a direct reverse. They both repelled those who began to be sick and avoided their dearest friends. They would cast them out in the roads half dead, or throw them when dead without burial, shunning any communication and participation in death, which it was impossible to avoid by every precaution and care. Final thing here is many Christians who healed and strengthened others themselves died, transferring their death upon themselves, so that this very form of death, with the piety and ardent faith which had attended it, appeared to be but little inferior to martyrdom itself. All right, so I want to kind of break this down and discuss this because there's a lot to talk about with this. Christians, especially in this day and age, were known for for caring for those who were sick. They were known for starting hospitals. They were known for caring for the widows and orphans. And in what this shows is that they're going beyond daily care. They're risking their lives to care for their friends. Now, I want to be careful here because I do believe that we need to follow the CDC guidelines. The reason the CDC is asking us to stay at home is to keep from giving this to our friends and our neighbors. However, it's the spirit of this that is really moving me right now. It's the idea that because of the strength they got through Jesus Christ, they didn't act like people who didn't know Jesus. They didn't act in self-centered ways. This is some horrible descriptions of people throwing their friends who were almost dead out of their house and just leaving them to die in the streets. Or those who did die, again, just casting their bodies out, not doing any kind of funeral rites out of an overabundance of fear. Now, we talked about fear yesterday, and this is what I said when I said that fear, if it takes on a form of self-centeredness, that's an unhealthy fear. Again, we're talking about the plague of some sort here. It's hard to blame them for their fear. It's hard to look back and say, well, I would act completely differently. I hope I would, but I don't know. But what is interesting here is to see how much Christians are called to give and to love and to serve each other. This is our Christian history. We are being told, don't act like you're just in it for yourself. But instead, we are supposed to look at how we care for each other during this time. Now, yes, again, I want to say this a couple of times in case this is misunderstood, but we are called to stay home and not spread the virus. And I do believe very strongly that we should honor that. So how do we provide loving care for those who are afflicted, to those who are going to contract this virus? And I think it bears a lot of conversation. I don't have an easy answer. I think that the situation is going to be constantly evolving. But what I do know is that we are called to act in love. We are not called to shun people just because they are sick. So let's bring this to you. How are you feeling called to help during this time? How are you feeling called to minister to others? I know one way that I'm ministering is through these videos. It's a chance for me to try to reach people and say, hey, these are some things that we need to be focusing on. But I bet you have some ideas too, and I would love to hear them because I think it's really important for us not to forget our Christian roots. So right now, I just want to say that I'm missing you all, and I am really looking forward to the point where we can gather together in Christian fellowship once again. But until that time, I love you all, and I look forward to speaking with you daily in these videos. God bless.